when I got to New England talking to Rob Ninkovich, and Ninko was like, "Hey, dude, if you go to the Super Bowl and lose, like you'd probably rather go 1-15. It's the worst feeling in the world." Um, was he correct in that analysis?
Yeah, you might as well, honestly, because it is one of the worst feelings ever. I think I sprinted into the locker room and uh, obviously threw my guts up because I didn't think I could feel worse losing the game. But
Jesus.
it was it's not a good feeling. But what I've been telling everybody, I've been on both sides, and I never want to be on the bad side ever again.
All right, this is the moment that I would say we've all been waiting for, but I think Fletch has been waiting for it the most because when I texted him and I was like, "Yo, do you want to come on the show?" Thinking, "Hey, he's busy. He just made $10 million. What's he got to do with a couple of peasants like us?" He was like, "Dude, I've been waiting to come on the show, and
That's
you guys
awesome.
never fucking asked me." Fletch, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's only took a couple years, but you know what? I feel like I'm here now. So
Yeah,
With a guy
here
like
we
Fletcher,
are.
though, he's like the hot chick that's like unattainable. You
He's
don't even
unattainable.
want to ask for her.
I don't even want to ask.
And then actually, she's like, "I've been waiting to call
Yes,
you for quite some time."
it's great. You know what though? I do want to say this. I got a chance to interview Fletcher. It was a hard-hitting interview at the Super Bowl. When we all went, you were somewhere else, I
Yeah.
think, but we all went down to the team
Thank you.
hotel and got to do like the media, like radio row thing, where you got a jockey for position and hold your microphone up. And in the crowd of people, I don't think Fletch knew that I was going to be in there. And when I poked my microphone through, and he started having to answer my questions, he couldn't keep a straight face.
Just laughing at him.
He was laughing at me. Was it the questions or just me?
I think it was more of you, because you can't know what to expect. You got to expect the unexpected anytime
Yeah.
Chris Long is asking questions.
Yes, that's true.
Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
We knew each other well. But yeah, no, dude, congrats on your deal.
Big time. Congrats.
Because you're still making good money and you're still productive, and like I kind of wonder because when I left Philly, you were in your 20s and you were kind of like, you were the best player on the field. And I just, at times with the injuries and some of the changes around you, I know it's been hard to make adjustments probably like to like what's going on around you and like the changing scenery and the uncertainty. Like there were a couple times here where I was like, I don't know if Fletch is going to finish as an Eagle, even though you're one of the all-time great Eagles. How close were you to leaving Philly? Was it close at all? And how excited are you to possibly finish your career in Philly?
I think it was number one. I'm excited to be back. Two, it came down to really some decision making and talking with family and it was close.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wanted to stay home. I wanted to be here in Philly and finish this thing here in the city of Philadelphia. But it was close. But again, I'm excited to be back for sure.
Who was sweating you the most?
Yeah, man, Joe D.
Joe Douglas, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Joe
I
D
bet.
almost pulled off the heist to get you, but that doesn't even feel like leaving because Joe Douglas is so like he's like our brother, man.
He is.
Like that would have felt like just being in Philly North or something. That wouldn't have hurt my feelings so bad. But like you in some weird uniform, dude, you're an Eagle, man.
I know. I couldn't picture myself winning
Yeah.
in another uniform.
Yeah.
I definitely would have had to switch numbers because
Yeah.
JFM, he's got 91. So
Yeah.
I know who's angriest. It's the scout team guard.
Yeah,
because
probably.
he's got to go against you every day.
Yeah.
There's some guys you go against and they may be really good players, but they don't play with the level of physicality that you do. And I know every time I lined up against you, it was always a nightmare physically. And I know you have to bring it in practice. I can think about the scout team guard being
Speaking of
pissed.
scout team guards, what about Cam Jurgens? Because like Cam Jurgens probably going to play some guard this year with Isaac heading to Pittsburgh. Yeah, good for Isaac, man. We're super happy for him, but people, Eagles fans, wanting to see Cam Jurgens play. Like, what's this kid got, man? Is he pretty good? Like, or is there a buzz?
You can see it. You can see it from him when he first got there. Honestly, training camp, I was like, man, this kid he'll be a really good player. And he's taken obviously during the season some reps at guard. So I don't think it'll be all new to him, but it's different than playing center. But I'm excited to see him if they do end up in that position and watch him grow. Obviously, he'll be a right guard, so we'll have our battles during training camp if he's put in that position, and it's only going to make him better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only gonna make him better.
will.
I like the phrasing. I like the phrasing too.
Well, there's something to be said for an offensive lineman that's been battle tested in practice against one of his own who's an elite. I remember going against Akeem every day, and it was the only thing that saved me from getting killed in the first half against guys like you, Fletcher, was having the mental toughness to keep showing up and playing regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
Down 40.
What about that happened a couple times. Kelce is coming back for another year.
Yeah.
I felt like when I was there, he was like thinking about hanging it up every year. And now 5 years later, we're still doing the same song and dance. And I really don't think Kelce has a plan. I think he just goes as hard as he can for a year. And then he picks up the pieces and thinks about it. Have you been surprised at how long he's been able to play at this elite level? Because I felt like this year I saw as many highlight tape blocks from him as any year.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you bring that up because me and Kelce probably one of the last two to walk onto the practice field in the training room, obviously, getting ready to go out, and we're like, man, I ask him every day, you still want to be doing this next year? He go, fuck no, I don't know if I'm doing this shit.
Yeah, well, he's still doing it,
but he's still doing it. I bumped into him today in the facility today when I was there, and he's in good spirits. He said. He's excited to be back, and so he's an all-time Eagle. He's a great.
Well, yeah, you, him, Lane, BG, like four guys that have been there now. You look up, and it's been a decade. I remember when you got drafted because I was sitting at a bar watching the draft, and Michael Brockers and you were the two studs in the SEC, and we ended up with Brock, and the Eagles ended up with you, and it's just been such a crazy ride to see. By the way, take that hat off again.
My hairline is still there, sir.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. It's still there. It's still there.
We can compare.
Oh yeah, it's okay, Kyle. No worries, buddy.
I look good as a motherfucker.
Yeah,
at this point, Kyle, just go ahead and
come on home.
Well, he's got the sideburns.
I usually shave it, but I'm doing the middle aged. I got a kid, so I don't got time for the razor. Look.
Yeah. What do you think makes Jason Kelce so good? Like, put your finger on it. Yeah.
If I can put my finger on it, but he's smart.
Yeah.
He knows what's coming before it comes at him. Even in practice and training camp, he's like, all right, Fletch, I know you're coming. Come on. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
But he's smart. He can, he studies a lot and he knows what's coming at him.
Yeah.
And it's fun going against him though, especially one-on-one pass rush. So
unless it's like a kick the trash can day.
No, or a break the TV type day,
Break the TV type day, yeah.
Love to have one of those guys every once in a while.
Kyle has had a couple break the door days. Yeah.
So,
I heard about it after you
left. You missed the new one. You missed the new one. We had like a walkthrough / practice with helmets on. Kelce, how grumpy he was. Obviously, thought it was the dumbest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to convince him, like, man, we're gonna be all right. It's only a few minutes. Well, after about 3-4 plays in team, you know what happened? The fucking helmet went flying, and everybody was like, "Well, there goes the helmets," and we just popped them off.
Yeah, helmets are off today. Yes, sir.
He's got pull.
He does have pull.
He's got pull.
Speaking of pull, like when we had Dougie P, who's doing great in Jacksonville. I know it's been fun to watch that because I know we both really like Doug and everything. But he was like a player's coach, the way people thought about him, but he worked as hard.
Yeah.
He'd have our leadership council meetings. We'd go up there, tell him what we thought, the whole thing. It feels like Sirianni's maybe even more of a player's coach. How would you classify him and, the kind of work y'all get done there and his leadership?
He is a super player coach. And I mean that with a bunch of respect. And I think that's why a lot of the players always talk really good about him. And it's nothing fake because he actually listened to the players like Doug did. And if the leadership committee, if you kind of want something tweaked or changed and, to make our bodies feel better or the schedule or whatever we're doing can make us better as a team, not just one person. Yeah. He don't mind trying it. But if you think you're full of shit, he's going to say, I think you're full of shit and we ain't doing it.
Right.
but it showed like our schedule and the way that we all did things this past year. It showed on Sunday.
Yeah, I felt like he kept y'all fresh. Like I was hearing about vet days that were not happening when I was in Philly.
Dude, if you was a rookie right now, you could probably you would probably play probably 20 years
That's crazy.
Dang.
Oh, well,
because
maybe it's good that I'm not a rookie.
it's like everybody, the whole team get a bad day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, as far as player coaches go, you're going to have a new coach in Sean Desai. What do you expect from Coach Desai coming in?
We talked last week, and he told me his expectations, and obviously, what he appreciated is obviously, Chris, you probably can agree that the way that we practice, when he turned the practice film on, the D line is flying around, and that's the group that leads the team, that controls, how we start, how we finish, right? And he said he's gonna keep the same intensity. But he expect the leaders to lead on defense. Obviously, things will be different. Play call will be different. So it'll be a bunch of new terminology, all the football stuff. But he's excited. He's excited about being there, and I'm excited to learn from him and watch him, lead the defense.
Kyle, you had him.
I had him, and when I had him, that defense really ran the locker room. They controlled the pulse of the locker room. I know you guys have an MVP caliber quarterback, phenomenal offensive line, but how does it feel to compete for being the tip of the spear, whether it's the offense or the defense? With Coach Desai, it's going to give you guys an opportunity to do that.
Well, it's a couple of things, and since I've been in the city of Philly, right? We have one of those things where when I first got here, it was like and I'm speaking as a defensive line. Like nobody messed with the defensive line, And Chris, he was there. Nobody and nobody messes us in a bad way. In the good ways, yeah, we all get along. But we kind of keep that on our shoulder when we're there in the building, and we respect all our other leaders and our quarterbacks. He's the star of the team, obviously, because he's the quarterback. But at the end of the day, I think the defensive line is always the tempo of the team. And this past year, I think honestly, like that's what it was.
It's got to be different to have, and I don't mean this disrespectfully to any of the quarterbacks we had in the past, because Carson and Nick both brought really positive things to the table, and I really fuck with both those guys. But Jalen seems like he's got a dog mentality, like he could be a D lineman, like he's got that kind of competitive edge. What have you seen from this guy? Like everybody knows, hey, he's a leader. Everybody knows he's got the respect of the team. But was there one thing that stuck out to you as he kind of made his presence felt in the locker room, where you're like, okay, this guy is he's got all those intangibles?
One word, Chris, believe it or not, his calmness.
Yeah.
But whether it's good or bad, or it can get ugly, he stayed calm, he remained the same. And that's what I respect about Jalen.
Yeah.
He's calm. Hey, Philly.
Hey.
His his calmness, and he just is always just doing his thing, and not really buy into all the distractions of what's going on outside of the locker room, or how people tell him how good he is. All of that riffraff that most stars get caught into. His main goal is to be the best quarterback and the best teammate he can be. And me and Jalen have talks all the time, about little stuff, and that's what I respect about him, especially a younger guy. Obviously it was look at his second year really being a starting quarterback.
Yeah,
going into his third year, and I'm excited to watch him just keep growing.
That was crazy. The Washington game a couple years ago at the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
when he got pulled, I was watching on TV like, what the hell's going on here? Were y'all like kind of like where was your head at that point?
I mean, my head was in my suite because that's why I was
Yeah,
sitting there
because
watching.
you were up, yeah. But just like, did you
Banged up.
think that he'd be the future at that point?
You can see it. You can see it happening, right? And I think Howie brought him in, and right now he's our starting quarterback.
Yeah.
But you can see he's grown, and we're all excited to have him back. He's about to get paid, though.
Yeah, he's going to get paid with a capital P. And then, you had to pay people on the defensive side of the ball. And that's part of the thing about being a great team is you can't pay everybody. Obviously, BG got brought back. You got brought back. CJ Gardner-Johnson He headed to Detroit on like a $9 million deal. Talk about that adjustment where you're like, okay, we're so good now, we can't pay everybody. I felt like when we were good, like we were good, but not like this last team. Like y'all were better. Would you agree? I know you had a really smart answer leading up to the Super Bowl. Where do you remember this? And somebody asked you which team was better, and you
Yeah,
were
I said
like,
the
hey,
2017 team, without a
yeah,
doubt.
but do you mean that though?
Because here's the thing, and you said it clear, because you said it very, very clear, right? And I think something I read on you on probably Greenlight Pod or something like that. You know, I
Yeah.
follow you guys. You said nobody expected that 2017 team because it's almost like we come out of nowhere until late in the end of the season, right? Well, being undefeated and only losing a couple games where you expect to be better than the team that was that way, right? And that was the thing. Like we had a target on our back this past season.
Yeah.
2017, we didn't have that target. We was just
Yeah.
had our nose down and taking off.
Yeah. Was that hard being a veteran leader? Like that's a lot more success. I feel like, it's like, I'm not saying they're egos, but in our, in our run, it was like a surprise to everybody, including the people in the building. And as you put it, like you had a target on your back. What comes with that is also you're like the hottest ticket in town. I felt like the entire year people were really into the Eagles and paid close attention to what y'all were doing. Was it hard to make sure guys didn't get too high and too low? And how did you apply that leadership?
Well, I think the main thing is the leaders kept, being one of the leaders myself, we kept a lot of the younger guys, right? We kept a lot of the team that, hey, look, like, don't veer off, don't buy into what's going on, don't listen to the media. Like, yeah, I know your Twitter's popping, your Instagram's popping, all this stuff popping. People want to mention you, take pictures here and there, but don't get caught up in it.
Yeah.
And we were having real life conversations with younger guys, and also vets too. Like they were like, man, like they didn't expect this, right? And for me, being there, being part of some really good teams that have some success, kind of that's why I kind of went back to like what the guys before me tell me. Like I remember all the meetings with Tori and you and LeGarrette. I remember those conversations, and that's stuff that I was telling those guys that I was able enough to get that from you guys, and now I push that knowledge on them.
What about the development of Josh Sweat? Because he'd fall into the category of a younger guy, but now he's entering his prime a little bit. When Sweaty J, as we call him, got to Philly, I mean, this dude is so fucking funny, Kyle. He's like,
Is he?
oh, Josh Sweat is one of the funniest guys of all time. But he's just we were like, you got to lock in. Like I don't know if you realize how good you can be. I mean, he's just such a special.
Until I get to know pass rushers, I assume they're just humorless,
Come on,
back killing robots.
No, we're funny.
And then I meet you guys, and you're all funny.
Yeah, and Josh Sweat's one of the funniest ones you could meet. But we saw off the bat like that this guy he had some special traits,
some freak traits.
Yeah, like he bends the corner like Robert Quinn, like like
that gives me nightmares.
He's like, I don't want to say a poor man's Robert Quinn because I hate saying poor man's anything, but
he's a fiscally conservative man's
Robert Quinn. Yes. What have you made of his development, and when did you see that light bulb go off?
This year, Wash and Bert started coaching him, and they forced him.
Really?
Right? You could see it when Chris was there. Chris Wilson, that is, and Chris Long.
Yeah.
Obviously, his favorite, Michael Bennett.
Yep. Kyle's favorite.
Yeah. Gotta love Mike B.
Yeah.
But you can see it. You can see it a couple years ago, and then like I think right now with Jeremiah, obviously Coach Wash, coaching them now, he brings the best out of Josh. He'll get it out of anybody because he know how. Obviously, Kyle. He know how to get it out you in a certain way because you look at every guy different. He talks to every guy.
He's got a good heart and a good brain, and he can pick at you. He can pick at your soul a little bit, get you going. That's how Wash operates.
Yeah.
Part of being a great D-line coach is knowing which buttons to push.
Jeremiah.
Everybody's different, and Josh Sweat's got some different buttons. So, we haven't talked about the Super Bowl, you and me. I talked to Kelce a little bit, and I was like, hey, man, you can't win them all. And he was like, it's easy for you to say, motherfucker. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. But I can remember when I got to New England talking to Rob Ninkovich, and Ninko was like, "Hey, dude, if you go to the Super Bowl and lose, like you'd probably rather go 1-15. It's the worst feeling in the world." Was he correct in that analysis?
Yeah, you might as well, honestly, because it is one of the worst feelings ever. I think I sprinted into the locker room and obviously threw my guts up because I didn't think I could feel worse losing the game.
Jesus.
But it was it's not a good feeling. But what I've been telling everybody, I've been on both sides, and I never want to be on the bad side ever again.
Yeah. The grass in that game was a problem. I know you guys aren't going to make excuses, but I thought that the playing surface was tough. What was the conversation going into that game, and was there conversation during the game about like cleats and spikes and that sort of thing? Because you could see it. I mean, guys trying to get out of their stance and couldn't get traction.
There was some conversation before, and obviously, we practiced at Cardinals facility, and we kind of felt, we all needed to go out before the game and try out different cleats. And there were conversations during the game where guys was on the sideline, change it to 7 studs, and still it wasn't the best surface, but I think at the end of the day, we have to find a way, to make the best of what we have, for however long we got there.
What do you think? Like you can take you took things away from winning a Super Bowl. What do you think you can take away from losing the Super Bowl to bring back, to your team on the next run? I mean, because I'm sure you learned things along that run and in that game that you might be able to take away.
Well, I think the biggest thing is making sure I had a lot of guys in the locker room that that some guys have been in big games like that. I think that things that I can share more with guys in the next Super Bowl, if I'm blessed to make one, is saving your energy and knowing that time is your biggest thing at halftime. Like our bodies are not used to those 30-minute halftimes. You're used to those short ones, and you get 2-minute warnings and you back out, right? You're hot.
Yeah.
Even those are too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are.
They should give us a high C on the sideline and send us right back out, just like fucking youth soccer. Just give them an orange slice and get them back out there.
Yeah, I got stiff watching the game and sitting at halftime. So a couple of rule changes that were coming out of this owner meeting that's going on right now that they're proposing. I wanted to get your take on them. Number one, coaches can challenge personal fouls. What do you think about that? You're somebody that plays on the edge. I'm sure you've had a couple personal fouls. Usually, though, you're actually helping BG avoid getting a personal foul, which is my favorite thing to watch. Well, actually, let's start there. How do you wrangle BG? And what's probably the number one time that you were like, hey, please shut the fuck up right now. Like, I don't need you pissing this guy off because I got to deal with him.
I was young, so when I was younger, I was, always a little bit of scared to say something to an older guy that's been around. But older I got, and the closer we got, me and BG, the easiest way to calm BG down is to talk to him in his most calm voice ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, he's like, "You right, Fletch.
Yeah,
I got you.
Uh-huh.
You right. Okay. And I'll be like, so he'll start back yapping again. I'll be like, hey, BG, this 600, 700 pounds, this guy got to come down on me. And I don't need you really pissing him off.
Yeah, like I saw him talking to Trent Williams, and I was like, I know you like to do this every game, but maybe take this one off,
Yeah, there's definitely guys we play against where you're just like, don't talk to him,
Fletch would have been one of them.
Fletch is on the list where it's like, I got to go play Fletch, just shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me or him.
Yep, exactly. So what do you think about reviewing personal fouls? Are you pro or anti?
Nah, I'm on this. That's making the game longer, right?
Oh,
it's making the game longer, but in my mind, if you swipe hands on a guard, quick, easy access to a quarterback, take him down, and somehow they call a ghost flag on you, not only it takes a sack away, it takes the
but that's a different question. Reviewing sacks,
your stats go down, your team's yardage goes down there.
But reviewing roughing the passer does seem like
that's what I'm saying. For you, it sounds like
so it seems like Kyle is a hidden yardage type guy. You want all the hidden
yardage.
No,
what I'm saying is I don't want you to get a sack because you do the right thing, and then you're penalized for it.
I think that's a little different than like every personal foul. I think the roughing the
I'm
passer
not talking about
stuff's no,
taunting.
yeah. What do you think about roughing the passer? Can we? Are you at least pro review on roughing the passer?
I would like to. I would definitely like to review a bunch of those because some of those are you can't take them back once they're called.
In
But if you can
multiple
review
ways.
them, now we're making some kind of progress in obviously saving a team 15 yards and saving another guy some money in his pocket.
Yeah, what's the most you've been fined on a football field?
27,000, I think.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Should have
No.
fined you $100,000 for the ass whooping you gave me in the wild card game.
Oh
mother-
boy,
Oh,
well,
God.
the lead was the
Guys
double
just
doink,
beating me
yeah.
up away from the play. There, no cameras over there. He takes me to a hallway, beats me up.
Yeah, is that how it went down?
Yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah, well, we were on to the Saints next week, so I didn't look at that
Yeah.
tape closely.
Double doinkers.
Yeah,
The tweaker.
yeah, and this is one that your team has actually has proposed. The Eagles have proposed. There's too many people on a team. There's not enough numbers. They want number 0 to be available, which I think is like the ultimate like swag daddy number. It's like, that guy that you're like, oh, chill out, bro. You're not good enough to wear number 0, but people will do it anyways. Are you pro number 0 on a football field? And who would be the guy on the Eagles to try to wear number 0?
It would have to be a defensive player.
Yeah.
Has to be a long snapper. Every team, long snapper, number 0.
No, I don't like that. I think it's always going to be a D tackle, somebody who thinks they're skinnier than they are.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, I've had 91 for too long, so I won't.
My producer's pointing at Fletcher Cox.
Okay.
I
got a question for Fletch because I've played against a couple guys. I played with a couple guys from Mississippi State, and they're all dogs. Can you tell me about what the culture is at Mississippi State that separates from other schools and why it's such a sleeper football factory in the NFL?
First off, let's get this correct. Mississippi State is D-line U. All right. Put a stamp on that.
Simmons,
what separates
Fletcher.
D-line U from other schools?
Yeah, what is it about?
You just gotta go look at where those guys are from, the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, the SIP.
The SIP.
It's hard
David
nosed.
Banner.
Let me say Chris's favorite word. Blue collared.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like
and,
that.
And what separates guys like you is you have a ton of hobbies. What separates you to me is you got a ton of hobbies outside of football that at first glance I was surprised by. You're into drag racing. You have your own drag racing team, right?
Yep.
You like archery and hunting. Are you
Yep.
into like traditional archery? Do you like crossbows? What are you shooting at these animals and targets?
In today's world, I'm using a crossbow.
Okay.
A lot easier on the upper body, honestly. You ain't got to keep drawing back, but or rifle. So drag racing is obviously a hobby, and I like both of those. But
is there an animal that when you kill it you feel bad?
I only know one type of animal, Chris.
What's that?
Hogs?
A dead one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go. So there's no like, the hogs you don't feel bad, the deer you don't feel bad, even with the movie.
And you're eating this stuff, right? You're eating this stuff.
Well, we're not eating feral hogs, but
other than the feral hogs that are killing the land.
You're harvesting. Is that? Do you use the word harvesting? Are you one
so
of these like
there you
PC
go.
hunters?
We're harvesting animals. We aren't killing them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good.
What's the best tasting animal that you've killed?
Either axis or scimitar oryx.
Axis deer, where is that?
Some exotic Bambis.
They're actually native. They're free range in Hawaii.
Oh wow, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Okay, is there a hunting show in your future? Maybe.
No, there's no hunting show.
Yeah,
This takes up a lot of time.
yeah.
Be like Trent Cole and Blitz TV.
Trent Cole's got a.
You need some contacts, some colored contacts.
Yeah.
Get your song.
Get you some. I was a big Trent Cole fan growing up.
You were.
Oh, he was because he had that double hand swipe.
He was an animal.
Absolute dog. So yeah, a lot more time for Fletcher Cox to get into hunting and fishing. It is the off season. He's got his deal done. 10 milli. Easy money for a legacy player like Fletcher Cox.
Couple more rifles.
When we get how many more years you want to play?
I don't know. We don't know. We might have to
1 year at a time.
We'll be having this conversation this time next year.
Yeah, I think we will.
And then I'll be there in person then, so we'll be.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, you need to come. You need to come down to Studio J and enjoy the vibes.
Come hang out.
Fletch, appreciate the time, buddy. And congrats on the deal, my man.
Man, appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me, man. It's an absolute honor. I made the Greenlight Pod.
Well, thank you for getting the name of the pod right, unlike BG, who when we saw him at the Super Bowl was like, the Green Pod.
The Green Pod. But you're talking about BG though.
Yeah, he's not
thanks a lot, Fletch.
Not making sense,
it's
man.
Always fun to see you, man.
It's good to see you, brother. It's good to see the puppy too.
Yes, sir. Philly. Oh,
yeah,
he's chilling. He waited on me to get off.
Yeah. Well, come visit us, buddy.
All right, holler at me later.
Okay, buddy. Love you, man. Good to see you.